Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
It's unbelievable.
Philadelphia Sports News. Live or relax.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Lorenzo Pomerano Show. It is back in the usual routine. Second episode back. We have a new intro, as if you were to click on this video anyway, it would be the first thing that you hear and see. I am somewhat proud of it. I feel like it could have been a little bit better with my editing, skills. But it's time to step into episode 46. We're 4 episodes away from 50 episodes, and that's going to be a huge milestone when it hits. But if I'm being honest with you, it should have been 50 already, because it's been 7 months without any podcast. But it's been on the come up. It's been back up. We're in the new year, 2024, and we are ready to be talking about some Philadelphia sports. But of course, yesterday was the Eagles and Buccaneers playoff game, wild card round, and sadly, the Eagles lost 31-9. Not very surprising, to say the least, especially because of how the other weeks have gone for the Birds, and it's more of a frustrating factor now. And the frustration came out a lot during the game yesterday, especially with me. There's a lot of yelling, screaming at the TV, screaming at the top of your lungs, and, you know, the whole spiel going on. So, I mean, it sucks. It really does. It stinks. It hurts mentally, physically, but we need to talk about it because there's so much that needs to be considered. That it's just, it's awful. It's horrendous. Like, I have no words to describe it. If you follow me on Instagram, again, that's Renzo_Pomerano_show, you would see that I had no words for what happened last night. Was it surprising? Not really. Was I expecting more? Hell yeah, I was expecting a lot more from this team, especially how they said they were gonna do better or whatever. I don't even know what Jalen Hurts said, something to Quez Watkins. But right now I want to talk about the defense, and it's I don't know. The missed tackles we saw last night were unbelievable. I mean, unreal. The amount of missed tackles, and I bet you James Bradberry was probably, 25% of the missed tackles? James Bradberry has a guy for a loss. And he gets a first down because James Bradberry can't get a tackle off. Nothing was going our way on defense. Everything was just fuming up in all Eagles fans, and it was like, what are we doing? We had a missed tackle on, I think it might have been second or third down, which led to that long touchdown, and the whole defense is making Baker Mayfield seem like he's the god, the GOAT of the NFL, when he's not. This Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is not better than the Eagles. But the Eagles have not been playing to their full potential because of the defense, the missed tackles, the play calling. Everything is finally coming into effect, and it's been brought to our attention for weeks now. And ever since that San Francisco 49ers game, every single team that's faced us has figured out our weaknesses, our strengths, everything there is. They say we're predictable, and we are. It's so constant of what this team has been doing the past couple of weeks, and they're so predictable. It's so funny. Sorry, I needed to get that out, which I did get out last week, but we just had to roll it back into today. But, the defense was horrendous, how it has been the past couple of weeks. So, I'm not surprised on that aspect. Play calling again with Brian Johnson. I don't know what in the hell he's thinking. We were not running the ball in the first half, let alone the second half. We did run the ball a little more in the second half than we did in the first half, but that was it. I think we might have ran the ball 5 times with Swift, maybe 5 times in the first half, which is unbelievable. Here, I have the breakdown here. So, the Eagles attempted 15 rushes, right? So, if you were to cut that in half, right? Say realistically, you're to cut that in half. That's about 7 rushes or 8 rushes a half. What? You should be running the ball 12 times tops in a half, especially when you have DeAndre Swift in the backfield and you're handing up to Kenneth Gainwell. Now, don't mind you, I am not hating on Kenneth Gainwell at all, but you are not giving your number one running back the ball, and it's just very, very frustrating to me. Sorry. It's just very, very frustrating to me on what they did with the play selection. And, it's been all season long with this, and I don't know what to say anymore. It hurts. It really hurts to even say that. But it's 35 passing plays compared to 15 rushing. That's 20 more pass plays than rushing. And usually in an NFL game, right, this is usually what an NFL team does is have almost even. You're probably going to pass the ball more, which is understandable, but 20 play difference is just astonishing to me. And I can't wrap my head around it. And they said they were going to run the ball and they didn't. So, I can't say anything on that. Next thing I want to talk about is the frustration with players. There was a video going around after the playoff game where it was Dallas Goedert clearly frustrated with Jalen Hurts. And, as anyone would be, there was a couple plays where even I noticed myself, and I know it's very different from a quarterback perspective, like an actual field perspective of who's open. But Goddard was open a good amount of the time. He didn't really get the ball at all. I mean, there was no big plays by him. He's kind of your third wide receiver from last night because A.J. Brown's out. You got Julio, who was in, and then who's actually having a pretty good game. He was catching balls, and then he had to go in concussion protocol, and then that was a whole mess. And, the frustration continues, and I can't really speak on what I think is going to happen with players and coaching, but it's because it's not really my my room to speak on that. I don't think Nick Sirianni should be fired from my standpoint. I feel like you give him another year, but looking at it right now, Sirianni isn't doing anything for us. And if I'm Jeffrey Lurie, I say you got 1 year to figure something out. I don't know what, but you got to figure something, and just roll it from there. So I'm just gonna about wrapping up episode 46 for today. But I want to announce what the big thing happened. Devontae Smith had an amazing game. We had over probably 150 yards. Looked like he was the only person who wanted to come out and play. And that. I'll respect, at least someone for coming out. But the best person I want to respect is Jason Kelsey. Earlier this morning, I woke up, and first thing that came on my Instagram feed was Jason Kelsey is retiring from the NFL, and very not shocking, but what a crappy way to go out. And as the Eagles fan, watching him for 7, 8 years even, sucks to see him go. But, it was time. We all kind of knew. We all kind of had that feeling. Brandon Graham did say yesterday that he was planning on coming back. We don't know, of course, that true statement. And then, of course, Lane Johnson and Fletcher Cox are on that radar too, to maybe hang it up soon. So, I'm not sure on what that status is. But thank you, Jason Kelsey, for all of you done for the city of Philadelphia. You truly, deserve to be first ballot Hall of Famer by far. Hopefully in the Eagles Hall of Fame as well. The number 62 should not be worn by any other person on that football field. But, so bad way to go out, to say the least. So, this has been the Lorenzo Primerano Show. Make sure to go follow my Instagram at Lorenzo_Primerano_show for all daily news, updates, everything that's going on. Maybe even my personal life. I post some personal things on there. Just to update you guys on what's going on. Nothing too serious, but it's been the Lorenzo Primerano Show. Make sure to keep the notice on when all these podcasts come out. Remember, everything's been changed. It's not weekly basis anymore. It's probably whenever I have time. So just be on the lookout for when these podcasts come out. I know a few people look forward to them. Hopefully more people start listening as the year rolls around. But we will see you all next time.